in the morning, 5:30 to see them, and all they do is push you farther and farther away, and then they don't even let you see them.
I got every Beatle record at home, every Beatle record. We didn't get to see it. What kind of police protection? Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well,
The performance was somewhat of a repeat of the 1964 show, even with the added police precautions.
How long do you think Beatlemania will last?
As long as you all keep coming.
The Beatles are great, Harvey Edmonds says so. Hey, the Beatles are great. The Beatles are great. They're great.
I love them. I don't care what anybody thinks. I love the Beatles for them, and I'll always love them. Even when I'm 105 and an old grandmother, I'll love them. And Paul McCartney, if you are listening. Adrienne from Brooklyn loves you with all her heart. I love you, Paul, and please come to the window so I can just see you. I saw you smoking before, and I kissed the limousine you looked out of. But I love you, and I want you, Paul. Please look at it. And Ringo, you can look at it, too, because I like you.
There have been huge crowds of teenage girls outside complaining that they don't want to mob you, they just want to speak to you. What do you think about this? Do you want to talk to them?
Well, have you ever tried talking to about 200 people at once?
We'd love to, you know. If we all wave and somebody always says, "Just stop that waving, you're inciting them."
Go ahead, Ralph. Run right behind you. Wait a minute. Why do you like them so much?
I don't know. There's just something about them. I don't know when they sing.
Aren't they as good as anybody else?
No, they're better.
Like the Beatles?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah. Good as Presley?
Yeah.
What's a woman's opinion of the Beatles? A young woman's opinion, that is.
I think they're sharp. Just gorgeous. He's gorgeous. He's got a beautiful nose.
He's got a beautiful nose.
Ringo has a sexy nose.
We were told as soon as we got here last night by the police, don't look out of the windows and don't wave. And if we do that, you know, then we get the police chief coming up and saying, well, we're finished, boys. And he goes away and he won't look after us, you know, so we can't do anything.
Have you tried to sneak into the hotel?
Yes, we were in the hotel.
How far in did you get?
12th floor.
Well, the Domenico was not like that. We came here at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 to see them, and all they do is push you farther and farther away, and then they don't even let you see them.
You've been here since 6?
Yes.
Have you ever been this crazy about any other entertainer?
No, and that's what's so amazing. We don't know why we're like this.
Arrived and are about to set foot for the first time in our country. I can see a sign, "We love you, Paul." One young lady's already broken through the cordon and is now being ushered off the tarmac. She got almost to the plane.
An assurance has been given that police will do everything in their power to help the fans see the Beatles.
Any minute now, the Beatles will be arriving at the Southern Cross. Their car is in Burke Street, and the fans are going really mad. Here they come. Here come the Beatles with a police escort. The crowd surging forward, absolutely out of control. Out here in front of the hotel, where the crowd is absolutely thick. You cannot see an inch of space. All you can see is heads, baskets, and coloured Guernseys.
That I cannot see further down towards Collins Street and further too up towards Burke Street. Already across the road at the Southern Cross, the barricades have been pushed down twice. There are swarms of police in there trying to rectify the situation. Mounted police have been in among the crowd to try and ease the crush on the front. And here is the tragic bit of the whole lot. The kids who have been here since early yesterday morning, some of them even since Friday night, are the ones who are now being injured. I've lost count of those that have been lifted across the barricades by the police.
Thank you very much, and good evening.
Some of the fences hold, others do not. A minor miracle is mounted by the fact that there are no injuries spread among the near hysterical crowd. This truly is a social document for our time.
The Beatles' departure from Sydney is a lot more hysterical than their arrival. Maybe it's the weather, but the fans really let themselves go. This time there is a chase across the tarmac, but the police cope with the situation, and there are even a few autographs. Some of the girls make a dash for the plane. Hold it there. You've got another big day ahead because Ringo's on the way. And the screams break out long before the fourth Beatles plane gets in. Even Ringo, who's used to this kind of thing, must wonder what struck him. Hysteria, just look at that. And here's the cause of it all. Ringo Starr. He's arrived with the Beatles' youthful manager, Brian Epstein. Ringo lives up to his name, rings on almost every finger, and surely his hair is longer than the other members of the group. The drummer boy drives off, but only to board another plane. He'll be heading south to join the others, koala and all. Meanwhile, Adelaide prepares for a reception such as it's never given anyone else before. There's quite a crowd at the airport, but you've seen nothing yet. Paul McCartney has a joke with Silly Sound's cameraman. And then the Beatles prepare for a triumphant entry into the city. The streets are crowded. It's a tumultuous welcome. The Beatles say it's the biggest they've had in any city in the world. The boys from Liverpool drive in an open car, and there's a crowd of 30,000 to cheer them. Adelaide has really let its hair down. At Centennial Hall, the hysteria, screaming, and the crowd itself hits a new high. Adelaide has never seen a crowd like it. Just look at those people, and they're not all teenagers either. When the Beatles appear on the balcony, it's a near riot. There are some casualties, of course. What with the crowd, the hysteria, and the Beatles, there just had to be. There they are. The Liverpool lads have taken Australia by storm. Adelaide gives them the greatest welcome in its history. The city of churches wants the Beatles. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Don't worry about me. You going out.
And outside, his fans were awaiting one Ringo Starr. Police officers pushing back the crush of the teenagers. Here it comes. That's it, Buck. That's it. Man, we better get out of here. At the very top of the crowd, one crying female.
And here they are, fresh from their triumphant appearances in the United States. 12,000 young Britons roar a welcome. Their shrieks rise in an awesome way.
And here they are.
And here he is, yes, and he's staring at me, smiling, that mop of hair, tousled hair, all over his face, and coming down that face, I suppose, is probably more famous than any other face in the world. He and the rest of the Beatles, he's being escorted down to the cars. Appears to be an enclosed car, which is understandable considering the fact that he is just recuperating from a sickness. But we've been assured that he will drive along past the fans that have lined the fencing here. Perhaps my estimate of the crowd was under. Perhaps it's about 1,500 to 2,000. It could well be by now too. And I've no doubt that most of them will remain here, and they'll be here in swelling number to welcome the other three members of the group, who incidentally there's a plane flying from here in Melbourne across to Adelaide. Later we'll possibly get it, but it's going to pick the rest of the group up and bring them back. They will arrive in Melbourne about 3:30. Now, here's this group of cars. Ringo is in the Wolseley, it looks like, the second. The crowd is really going well. It's wonderful. A tremendously spontaneous reaction. They're waving and screaming and carry on, throwing bits of torn up paper. There are balloons and banners. And although we can't really get a close view of Ringo himself, I'm quite confident that he's acting in that very poised and confident manner that he always seems to show whenever he's in the public eye. He seems to have a great dignity, as have all the rest of the Beatles. And probably more than anything, the thing that endears them all to us so much is this sense of humour which they seem to show. and this, no doubt, we will see when they are interviewed in their press conference. Well, he's gone up the line of fans at about 5 or 10 miles an hour. Whether or not he'll return and come back, it's rather difficult to say. It looks to me as if that's it. It looks to me as if they're off on the way back to the hotel.
It is the Fokker Friendship VH FNI Foxtrot November India, on which these the three Beatles are travelling in from Adelaide. Proceeding in, it'll be landing into the north on the north-south runway, and in just a few moments, the hopes and dreams of all these crowded people here will be just beside themselves with joy. You can hear the screaming probably starting now. They seem to sense that it's almost with us, and my goodness gracious me, this has been a pretty exciting time. People here right around the entire area that's been cordoned off by ANSA here to allow the Beatles plane to come in. There was suggestions, of course, earlier that if anything got out of hand here and crowds started breaking through the barriers, that the Friendship would be diverted to Mangalore. But there you can see for yourself, there's no question of the aircraft going to Mangalore. It's just about to touch down on the north-south runway. It's down in pretty gusty conditions here at Essendon, and the screams are building up. They've been giving these little screams every 30 seconds or so right throughout the day since we've been out here. Now it's sort of building up into one continuous scream and getting louder and louder as every second goes by. Tremendous security precautions have been taken, of course, with regard to the actual parking of the aircraft here on the tarmac. Nobody will be allowed out at all on the tarmac while the propellers are still running. I should imagine that the captain will probably cut one of the motors, possibly the port motor will be cut shortly, and he'll leave one of them running until he's actually pulled up completely. And until those engines stop altogether, then there'll be no question of anybody going out onto that tarmac. The aircraft did arrive a little bit earlier due to this north wind behind it. They've taken the Beatles for a bit of a flight down around Port Phillip Bay. They went down, we understand, in the vicinity of Frankston, and then they brought them back over the city again, and here they are. Melbourne's first glimpse, almost live, of the fabulous Pop Tops. The crowd is starting to scream again. I don't think they can really believe this is happening. There have been people of all ages out here all day singing Beatles songs. Every now and again you'll hear them breaking out with "We love the Beatles," on they go, and then there'll be a few screams, and gee, it's been an exciting time. You can't help but get with this tremendous spirit of enthusiasm, this almost air of abandonment that everybody seems to be showing about the Beatles. I can't help but believe that this is good. If people can, as it were, let their hair down, to use an expression, there goes our Channel 7 camera, Channel 7 camera bringing you the closest of close-up looks of these fellas as they come out, our mobile camera, and there the camera is out there right beside the door where the Beatles will in a moment emerge. We've got Pam Clifford and Marion here. They're jumping up and down with excitement. Can you really believe this is happening, Pam?
No, right? No, it's terrific.
There goes an ANSA official who will open the door. It'll be interesting to see. I'm going to depend on you juniors here to give me a bit of a clue. Pam's jumping up and down here. She doesn't know what to do with herself. That doesn't look like a Beatle, Marion, does it?
No, not quite, Brian.
Well, there we go. The crowd is sort of all now in a state of complete suspense. They're just waiting to see which Beatle's going to appear first. No sign of them yet. There are a few hands there, which I think belong to a couple of the very pretty ANSA air hostesses. There's the truck that they will be mounting. As a matter of fact, when this truck went by a little while ago, quarter of an hour ago, the crowd absolutely screamed with joy at an empty truck. This is the sort of fever that's developed here with these Beatles today as they arrive at the Essendon Aerodrome. A great air of expectancy. The crowd has sort of reached a stage of hush now. There's barely a sound. They're screaming now. There it is. There's the first one. Paul McCartney, I think. John, George, Jimmy Nichols, who's their stand-in drummer. And there they go. They're mounting the special truck. Paul McCartney. Who's the next one? That's Jimmy Nichols, number 3. George behind, and Jimmy. John's got the dark glasses on. Maybe John's had himself a pretty happy sort of time over in Adelaide. But there they are. They're sort of looking, I think, very happy about this welcome. It's a cold wind here, but At least it's not raining, but my goodness, it's a freezing wind, and you can see there as they stand huddled in their coats that they're probably feeling the full effects of this very chilly wind. They're now being taken for their special tour around the crowd here at Essendon, and these people now, the people at the far northeastern end of the tarmac here will be getting the first glimpse of them. People virtually underneath the control tower, this side from the control tower, will be seeing the first. They've got balloons and banners and every conceivable type of thing. Do you think the Beatles look happy about being here, Johnny?
I think so. I think they're enjoying every minute of it, Brian. The people are screaming their heads off over there. I think chaos will break out any minute.
Well, this is a moment of great excitement. As I said before, it's infectious. You can't help but get with it. People running in all directions now, chasing the Beatles around in this truck. But as you'll notice, no sign of disorder as far as the people behind the fence are concerned. There doesn't appear to be yet any attempt at all for people to jump the fence, which I think is a tremendous tribute to these young people who have waited for such a long time here. They're almost round in front of our commentary position now and waving gaily. John's wearing a pretty coloured pink shirt there, I see, Mary. Looks pretty radiant. The others are all pretty well cloaked up. And there they go, past our commentary point now. Looking pretty happy. They look a bit cold, but they're happy. And away they go. We got a nice wave there from George, wasn't it, at the back? George at the back there gave us a pretty happy wave as he went past. And this would make your day complete, girls, I guess.
Oh, yes, Brian, definitely.
Well, were they what you thought they'd be?
Oh, yes, they're wonderful. Bit more, too.
Bit what?
Bit more.
A bit more. There they go. They're doing another round of the circuit. Well, this seems to be in keeping with this wonderful attitude of generosity, if we can term it that way, that the Beatles have shown everywhere on their tour throughout Australia. Nothing seems to be too much trouble for these fellas. They don't seem to mind how long they wait, in what conditions they have to wait. It doesn't seem to matter if it's raining. It doesn't seem to matter if it's a chilly Melbourne wind. They're still happy to keep on going around, waving to all these fans who have listened and waited for them for so long. All you can hear all over the drome now is just virtually one continuous scream. It's hard to believe that girls can scream this loudly or get such a high note, but we've heard so much of it today that the proof is there. The police mobile courtesy vans are moving around, one in front of the truck and one behind the truck to ensure that everything's kept in order. Two motorcycle police escorts behind the courtesy van. But this is a tremendous tribute to these young people. I have not seen one semblance of a disorderly action from any member of this crowd. Their enthusiasm could not be better, and yet over on the left here, somebody suffered from it. Down directly under our van here on the left, somebody is being carried off here. This is what the ambulance people feared, that this might get a little bit too much. There's a young lady here just going right past us now, and she's being carried off. But on go the Beatles in their triumphant tour around the drone. They've just about got back to the Fock of Friendship again, from which they departed just a few minutes ago. They're going right out around the control tower now, and it would appear that that's the direction from which they're now going to leave the Essendon Aerodrome. I think they gave the people a pretty good look at what was going on. They did 2 complete circuits of the tarmac area here. There's a strange silence around us now. People are mooching about. They sort of can't believe that in all this time of waiting, their idols have arrived, and now almost as quickly as they came, they've gone again. People are streaming across the grounds in a hope of catching another glimpse of them as they go out on the northern side of the Ansett-A&A terminal here at Essendon. They're leaving up by the old area. There's another fine shot of them as they move there past the old Ansett-A&A buildings. There you can see their air cargo depot, and this was where their old terminal used to be, of course. So you'd have a pretty fair idea of where they're travelling. They go right up, I should think, to the almost northern exit of the drome, and then down, of course, into the...
It's B-Day in Sydney. Before dawn on B-Day. And at Sydney Airport, hundreds of teenagers are nearing the end of an all-night vigil. They've come to sleep tonight. Come from as far away as Grafton. Come with their books about Beatles. Transistors to listen to Beatle music. Some even do sleep. 4 a.m., 3.5 hours before the Beatles arrive. And it's one of the wettest days and one of the wettest weeks in Sydney's history. The kids have begun to scream and yell already. They're wet through, but they reckon it's worth it. Hello, you a Beatle fan too? The plane is almost due now. The rain hasn't stopped. Police scores of them take up positions just in case. And the screams reach a crescendo as the plane lands. Only 3 of the Beatles are on board. And here they are. There's a special truck so the Beatles can drive close to the fans. And despite the driving rain and high wind, the Liverpool boys do just that. It must be pretty uncomfortable up there, but if hundreds of youngsters can wait in the wet, the Beatles don't mind getting damp too. One of the boys loses his umbrella. Gone with the wind. That calls for more screams. The youngsters are well behaved. There's no rioting, no pushing through barriers. In a few minutes, they're all gone home to dry off. And the Beatles themselves, having shed...
Here with everybody.
I'm going Sunday. Just to see the reaction of the audience. I think that's even more important, I think.
And they made 2 great pictures. So I guess they're great.
What do you want? Well, what are you going to do in there, Groucho? Are you going in to listen to Beatles? I'm going in and get drunk. You wouldn't dare. Are you really? Of course I am. Brought the charming family with you? Whenever I can get a free drink, I'll go anywhere. You bet your life. That's a very funny answer.